My name is Katie, and for my final project, I will be presenting on wind, an alternative energy source. Before we get into why it's happening, I'm going to get into what is happening. When making wind energy, wind will turn the blades of a wind turbine. The rotating blades spin in a shaft connected to a generator, and inside the generator, a magnetic field and coils of wire interact to produce electricity through electromagnetic induction, thus creating energy. One of the biggest reasons wind turbines and wind energy is a thing is to take out the carbon dioxide that is in the air through the process of combustion when burning materials that contain carbon. It happens when fuel reaches its ignition temperature and the carbon atoms in the fuel break their existing bonds and bond with oxygen atoms, and this releases energy in the form of heat and light, and the carbon and oxygen combine to form CO2. Why is it happening? It's combating climate change and greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, along with helping with air pollutants, and it's cheaper and inexhaustible for an energy source. Who benefits from it? Communities and public health, climates with vulnerable populations, economies and workers with all the new jobs, and government because there's less dependence on imported fuels. What effects are we experiencing now? We are experiencing lower emissions in the atmosphere, reduced water use, and technological innovation. Some negative impacts are local ecological impacts like collisions with wildlife, materials and waste because the materials we use are hard to recycle, and there are many grid challenges. Some effects we might experience down the road might be larger emission reductions, a cleaner chemistry of the overall atmosphere, and we will hopefully have several technological advancements with the wind energy and making it better in the future. Some negative effects we might experience could be resource and land use, not having enough resources or land. It could be an end-of-life waste because the materials we use are, if we don't better them, and they just keep being non-recyclable, they will just end up in a landfill and build up. And there might be a lack of social acceptance and not feeling included with different communities. Certain parts of the world that might be experiencing these effects different to a higher degree than others might be Great Plains in the U.S., the North Sea, coastal China, and parts of India. These places see rapid build-out and strong economic benefits with the windmills and the use of wind energy. And some lower income countries might struggle with the costs and the grid space for these things, so they might not get to see it as much as other countries would. Some ecosystems that might struggle with them are anywhere that there are a large amount of birds or other animals coming through the air. And rural landscapes, it'll be I don't know how to describe it, like a stick in the mud, basically, like something new and different that people might not agree with. And what are some institutions that are hurting or helping this issue? Some things that are helping this issue are international bodies such as United Nations and others that promote decarbonization and fixing the atmosphere. There are a bunch of universities and research labs putting in effort to try and study more and make more changes to benefit more. Anything that might be hurting or slowing progress, any combating fossil fuels or any type of fuel that it might be in, a race with this could definitely be slowing it down. Any weak regulatory systems that have a lack of community consultation or corruption can lead to bad sitting with these things. And then fragmented grids can also hurt the process of getting these things to more places, which can, well, obviously overall just hurt it. Some alternate energy, renewable energy types might be solar power, which some pros are it's abundant and it can be used basically anywhere that you can get sun. There's low operating emissions, just like using windmills and turbines to make energy. And it pairs well with wind because it often produces power at different times, like when it's sunny and calm. Some cons might be it depends on sunlight and it might need storage or backup, which is understandable. The materials and waste, it's kind of just like windmills, or turbines. They're not always reusable, and sometimes they're hard to find. Another option might be hydropower, which there's also low direct emissions, just like solar power and wind power. And reservoirs can store energy and respond quickly, which is good for quick energy and emergencies. Some cons is just like windmills and turbines, there is ecological disruption and severe social impacts. And there is another option, it could be nuclear power, which again, low operational emissions and a high capacity factor, which means it provides steady baseload power. And some cons would be obviously the radioactive waste, and there's a high accident risk for it, which we don't really need. For a course of action I would rapidly expand on wind energy as a core part of cleaner energy and rebuilding the economy. And I'd also try to find ways to get more recyclable materials so that we're not fixing one issue and creating a new issue. So it would prioritize fixing and maintaining rather than fixing and breaking again.